had given a time frame for them to do so, and a family member had, called in during that hour to saying that, look, it shouldn't just be beggars, that the Agberos are already taking over bus stops and major places in the Federal Capital Territory. But then, to add to that, I mean, we have seen yet another stride where the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has issued a 3-month ultimatum. 3 months to owners of underdeveloped properties in Abuja to develop their buildings or face demolition. Now, that decision was aimed to addressing the rise in shanties and illegal structures across the Federal Capital Territory that somewhat has posed security risk to residents. Now, according to Felix Obua, who happens to be the coordinator of the Abuja Municipal Management Council, these underdeveloped, building service hideouts for men of, in quotes, questionable character. And failure, according to it, there'll be consequences that should follow. The failure to develop these properties within the stipulated period will result to the revocation of land titles and demolition of such structures. And notable individuals that have been affected by this ultimatum include Yusuf Buhari, Zara Buhari, Femi Gbajabiamila, Bas Tajuddin, Georgia Kume, Bukola Saraki, Rocha Sokorocha, Ibukunle Amosun. I mean, we can keep naming this list. But yeah, if you also notice that these names are not just before somebody would say, it's the poor people that this thing is targeted at, what would be your thoughts, about this? And I didn't even know that licenses could be revoked, but you might also want to throw light, on that for us too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, listeners and viewers, for those who have logged in into the YouTube.
Right.
I'm glad to be here. And last time we were talking about unoccupied properties.
Yes, please.
And I told you that one of the reasons why the properties were unoccupied is the fact that some of them are not fully completed. I mentioned that last time. They are not fully completed. There is what we call pre-finished, there is what we call carcass, there is what we call, so many names. Now, some of these properties, some you will see them from the outside, look very beautiful, but inside is not finished. And that is why they are unoccupied. And I said one of the major reasons why these properties are not finished is there are 2 reasons. One, it could be funding. Maybe the developer got to a point and he was stuck. He couldn't go further. Maybe he borrowed fund from the bank, and the fund couldn't achieve what it was intended to achieve.
Right.
Now, another major reason is that some of these developers, or let me just say build developers. When I mean developers, I don't mean professional developers alone. Property owners. Okay, I think it would be right for me to use property owners. Some of these property owners are speculating on these properties. Speculating in the sense that they will build to a point and stop. And they said, okay, like in the right of occupancy given, it will be recorded that for a period of so time, there must be a development there.
Right.
In fact, at a point, what they even count as development is a boys' quarter. That is, once I put up a boys' quarter in my land, that shows that the land can no longer be revoked. But I thank God that this minister is taking the bull by the horn. Because if we don't get to this level, I am telling you, the city will be flush with shanty homes, will be flooded with uncompleted buildings. And now you can see the impact of this uncompleted building in the FCT. It's now becoming hideout for miscreants, it's becoming hideout for hoodlums, it's becoming hideout for kidnappers, and so on and so forth. So I think it is the right decision to be taken.
Right.
You remember when this minister came on board, the first thing he said that, look, some of you are owing government by not paying your ground rent. And he said if nobody pays the ground rent, he gave an ultimatum. The right of occupancy will be withdrawn, that is to be revoked. The same thing is happening here. How will somebody build a property to a point and he will stop and he will not want to continue? Now, if you are not interested, why don't you sell the property and let those who have the money to complete it?
Yeah, ESB, when the minister, upon resumption of office, made that statement, did we find compliance?
Very well. Very well. So many, in fact, the compliance, according to my own rating, is over 75%. Yes, people comply. So it's like people, they know the impact of the CFO they are holding. The paper they are holding, called CFO, they know the importance of it. They wouldn't want to lose it. And that is why they quickly rush to the bank and begin to, if you ask the officers of particularly the revenue generation department, they will tell you how much they rake in. The city or the minister or the FCTA or FCTA rake in so much money by the collection of ground rent. Now, this one coming on board again. It is not as if the government want to rake in money this time around. They want to sanitize the environment by saying that all uncompleted buildings must be completed. And I think I support that. They should be completed. But now, when the buildings are completed, there will be level of economic activities. In a building, do you know how many families you'll be feeding if you are to do construction work? You'll be feeding over 12 families because different kinds of people will be engaged there. Technicians, artisans, engineers, and so on and so forth. So why don't you do this and let there be activities going on in the city, economic activity for that matter?
Let me ask you, ESB. I mean, I know you've spoken quite a lot, and I'm glad you're a doctor and also in this regard and all of that. But then there is this, allay, this fear, in the hearts of many Nigerians about, okay, so you say that this land should be developed. What if I do not have the capacity in terms of finances to develop?
I think there is a way out of that.
Right.
If you don't have the capacity, one, you can sell it off. That is number one.
Okay.
Number two, if you don't have the capacity, you can partner with somebody that has the capacity. We call it joint venture idea. Joint venture. You can partner with somebody that have the capacity and have the technical know-how. Number three, if you don't have the capacity, you approach a bank and borrow money and finish it up. Okay. And now we even have non-interest banking today. We have Taj Bank, we have Jaiz Bank, we have other banks that are non-interest banking. So you can partner with them and you get the funding and you finish it up.
Right. Well, anyways, would that? Do you also think that would help? To solve the issue of people not having homes or roofs or shelter over their heads.
Of course.
And would that also prevent the issue of some of these would I call it light criminals, the pickpocketers, and all of these? Would that indeed add that value, to the society? Let's not even say Abuja, society generally.
Very well. It will add a lot of value to the society. Now, one of the value. Now, if you look at all these miscreants or pickpocket or whatever thing you call them, they don't live right in the city. They live outside the city, places like Maraba, places like Madala, places like Suleja, and so on. But when they have a safe haven like uncompleted building, they find themselves here and they use it as a hiding point.
So you agree with the FCTA that this might just be a harboring ground for all of these?
Very well.
All right. Well, the conversation is still going on here. And yes, the topical issue still remains the Federal Capital Territory Administrations, that's the FCTA, efforts to sanitize land administration and enhance security. Shall I also bring it to your notice the fact that the FCTA Minister Nyesom Wike introduced reforms that was aimed at curbing fraud and ensuring that only genuine landowners receive legal documentation. I mean, sometime in September of 2023, Wike had approved a 3-month grace period for 189 title holders who had somewhat obtained, building plan approvals, but they were yet to commence, development on their properties. Now, additionally, though, we've seen the FCTA also issue a 2-week ultimatum to 273 landowners in Abuja's Maitama district, and to settle outstanding payments for their certificates of occupancy, that CFO, or risk losing their property rights. We've also seen some work from the Federal Capital Territory Fire Service. They've recorded at least 271 incidents and saved at least 11 lives in the FCT from January to August of 2024. That this is to prevent future fire outbreaks, especially in markets. Residents are advised to somewhat be cautious and take fire preventive measures, and with key measures to be adhered to. But can I ask if there is a relation, or if we have a proper, if the thoughts of the FCTA to sanitize land administration were to put into full implementation, right? do you think it will cause less hazards? I mean, for the fire service, I mean, especially with markets, structures, and all of that, as it were.
Yes, I think it will help.
So there's a connection, somewhat.
A very big connection. Very big connection. We said the other time that when these people, when the properties are fully developed, number one, it will be occupied.
Okay.
Number two, it has a tendency of forcing down the rent. Number three, there will be serious economic activities going on within this 3 months of ultimatum. Because if we send people back to the site, you are sending about, like I told you, one building will feed 12 families at a time. And these 12 families include the engineers that work there, include the technicians that work there, include the artisans that work there. You can imagine that.
So imagine.
I was just conservative by saying 12 families. I can tell you authoritatively it will feed 25 families.
So imagine working on 12 buildings at the same time.
That is it.
Okay. Well, anyways, that being said, let's just open the phone lines. Let's know what you think about this. I mean, the FCTA is saying that, look, it's high time we begun work. Those who are property owners begun work, on their property. If not, they may face license revocation, which I didn't know that was possible.
Sorry, let me chip in something.
Okay.
Let me chip in something. Yes, the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory has the right to revoke any certificate of occupancy.
Has the right?
Yes, has the right. Because the provisions are there. If you violate any of the condition that is attached to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy, the Honorable Minister, acting as governor in other states, has the right to revoke. Now, let me give you this example. Do you know that for now, the rate of building collapse in Abuja has reduced? Why? Because if there is any building collapse, the Honorable Minister take over the land. What I mean by the Honorable Minister, I mean that the property or the license is revoked.
Yeah.
And once it is revoked, then the owner, the original owner, ceases to become the owner of the property and becomes the property of the government. So because of that, everybody is on their toes to build a very good standard building. So because they don't want their property or their license revoked.
When you say revoked, is this like an outright revocation or without compensation? It's just revoked.
Nothing like compensation. They will take over, and once the government takes over, do you know that? I mean, by virtue of the Land Use Act, the whole land in the FCT is vested in the hands of the Honorable Minister. So he is the one now that has been authorized to allocate. Now, somebody that has been authorized to allocate, he allocates with terms and conditions.
Right.
Now, when you violate any of the terms or conditions, then the land revert back to him. When I mean him, I mean the FCTA now.
Yes.
So he has the right, absolute right, to revoke.
Okay.
And you know that even apart from the CFO, it is in the CFO. I didn't know we are discussing something that would pertain to CFO. I would have read part of the clause that says that if you don't develop this property within so period of time, your rights stand to be revoked. I would have read it out for you. Then even the development control, they will tell you have to complete your building within so period of time. It's there.
Right.
Within so period of time. So if you don't complete within that period of time, it shows that you have violated a clause or in the approval given to you.
Right.
And that makes your property or the land to be at the risk of revocation.
All right, 3 months ultimatum given to owners of underdeveloped properties in Abuja to develop their buildings or face demolition. Number to call would be 0907 353 0044. I'll give it to you again, 0907 353 0044. And the WhatsApp portal number would be 0909 705 4450. You can send a message, WhatsApp message to the WhatsApp portal number, and yes, we will engage that conversation already right here in the studio. Taking this call. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Odua.
Yes, good morning to you, Elder Onoja.
Onoja is my name. Good morning, our guest.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
Sir.
I'm calling from Cuba.
All right, let's get into it, Elder.
Our guest has speak the reality. All what you say is true. what he failed to know. You see, there's some people you can't step on to in federal capital here. Those plots where you are talking about of Metama or talking about of this and this. You see, when the minister came, he was willing to clean Abuja and demolish many houses. But you know, these politicians, they can't stop. You see, let me give you an example. There are some people when EFCC can never investigate in Nigeria here. If they step to a place, they tell them to stop. Those houses in Metama, you say revoke. If the minister is going to that place, you see, say they started campaign against him because he's not a member of the ruling party. You see, when he came, he went to clean Abuja, but politics has to stop him because those people where you are talking about, revoking, yes, you have right to revoke. And then who are you going to revoke in plot when it's a member of ruling party? Would you do that? It's not possible.
Okay.
Even when he came, he talked about the villa and the other, all those areas to demolish. You can't take two of those people.
Okay.
And then two, if the Minister of Federal Capital, let me advise you. If the Minister of Federal Capital went to do this thing, those abandoned housing estate, let him liaise with federal government. This urban development, this bank, urban development, let them start buy that houses and share the work from work every month. They going to be for them.
Okay.
Instead of them to collect that money and keep it, let them started buy those houses to these people and share it to workers. That's the only simple way. Okay. Somebody have bid estate into half. Now he don't have money to bid, and they went to revoke it and demolish it. It's not possible. Drag it to court, and if you drag it to court, the court may say the case may stay in court for 15 years. By that time, the minister has gone.
All right, Elder. Thank you
so very much. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Right. Well, Elder Onoja has spoken.
Yes, Elder Onoja, thank you for your contribution. Very, very valid and apt. But I just want to remind us that in this same Federal Capital Territory, we have one honorable minister in the person of His Excellency Nasir El-Rufai.
Right.
When he came in, he issued out similar things. People thought he was joking. Not until he started revoking. And not only revoking, the first place to be revoked, he carried the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, along. So, to me, I don't think there is any high and mighty that whose certificate of occupancy cannot be revoked if the government is very, very serious with what they are doing. If the honorable minister of today is serious, I am telling you, irrespective of who is to be affected, he will revoke CFO.
Right.
Based on contravening, based on public interest.
All right. Well, it might also interest you to know that in Nigeria, the certificate of occupancy CFO is a vital document that proves ownership of a property. However, the government can revoke this document under certain circumstances. One of such would be the breach of conditions. That is, if the property owner fails to fulfill the conditions specified in the CFO, the government can revoke the certificate. Non-payment of land charges, unpaid land charges can also lead to revocation. Unauthorized development, constructing structures without approval or contravening building regulations, and then acquisition for public purpose. Now, the government can revoke the CFO if the property is required for public projects like roads, schools, or hospitals. I mean, the Land Use Act of 1978, it governs property ownership in Nigeria, and it also outlines the procedure for revocation. I believe this is what you were trying to put out there.
Yes, I was
Notice of revocation.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about overriding public interest. Now, what we call overriding public, or what many people term as overriding public interest, is maybe where there is road construction, there is a rail line, and no, it's beyond that. Now, these properties are posing a security threat to the society, to the environment. So it's also part of overriding public interest. They are already posing as hideouts to hoodlums, just like what you have reported this morning.
Right.
They are posing as hideout to hoodlums. They are posing as hideout to kidnappers. They are posing as hideout to bandits. So what are we talking about? Is that not overriding public interest? So the government can ride over that and say that, look, these properties, uncompleted, unoccupied, is posing a security threat to the society, and they can use that to revoke it. Well, they could go to court, yes, but I'm telling you, when by the time they give us a thorough definition, the court give us a thorough definition of overriding public interest, we will notice that this also forms overriding public interest, because the effect is not on the owner of the land alone, it is not on the neighbor, but it's also on the entire residents of the FCT.
Right. Well, we'll just take a breather right now. We'll be right back in a short bit. Remember, this is Eagles Outlook, where we talk politics and current affairs. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
It's 9 a.m. Time to fly better from Lagos on Emirates to Dubai and beyond. It's not just a destination, it's how you get there.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at a state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, here to stay.
You are here right now.
Your miracle is here. Just believe and receive. Breaking news. The healing streams are flowing again, and your testimony is next as we anticipate the Healing Streams live healing services with Pastor Chris, holding from
Friday, October 25th to Sunday, October 27th, 2024, 2 p.m. daily.
Register now and view the program at
www.healingstream.tv/zone/capital ABMC.
You can also participate live at Christ Embassy Durumi near American International School, or at the nearest Christ Embassy church to you. Also at any of our designated healing centers all around town. Also airing live here in Abuja on Eagles 102.3 FMs. Call or text
070-7125-2233. 070-7125-2233. Friday, October 25th to Sunday, October 27th, 2024. You can also watch it live on Eagles FM Abuja YouTube and Facebook page, 2 p.m. daily.
Your set time for a miracle. Don't miss it.
Your number one radio experience you can count on. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Still tuned in and locked on to the political and current affairs Prog Show on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and we are still looking into the topical issue, the Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA and its efforts to sanitize and land administration as well as enhancing security. And I'm here in the studio with my guest is ESV Dr. Kehinde Ogunsanya. He's an estate surveyor, real estate property valuer, and facility manager. I mean, we've been talking quite a number, about these issues about how it is possible for the minister of a federal capital territory, which of course in other states could have been termed the governor of a state, has the power, constitutionally based, to revoke licenses, and you've made it clear that he does have that power, as well as that would be under certain circumstances which you've also outlined. But I'd like to ask you, ESV Doctor, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it might be the same as the listener who's listening right now. Could this be a ploy to sending the have-nots out of the city of Abuja, as quite a number of reports, of well-meaning Nigerians who quite a number of persons will term the elite have said that the Abuja FCT is not for the poor. It's not for the low lives or those who are not working in industries and companies and all of that.
Yes, thank you very much. I wouldn't want to toe that line of thought.
Right.
Because I will still want to maintain that Abuja is for everybody.
Okay.
The rich cannot live without the poor. That's just the basic fact of life. Some time ago, I read a book called Beggar Strike, and I want to recommend that book to everybody to read. The title of that book was Beggar Strike. And I was like, if beggars strike, let them strike now. They will die of hunger. But when I read that book, and I noticed that what the author was saying is that the rich need the poor to survive. The poor need the rich to survive. So it is like a symbiotic relationship. Yeah. So you cannot say Abuja or Federal Capital Territory is for the rich alone. No, you need the poor around you. And how do you get the poor around you? Whether we like it or not, we use the poor for domestic work. We need the poor as gardeners, we need the poor as security, we need the poor as cook, and so on and so forth. So whether you like it or not, the poor will also be part of the FCT. Even the Metama we are talking about, the poor will also be there. The rich will be there, because the rich cannot do without the poor. And that is the basic fact of life.
Right. But anyways, just as we mentioned earlier, I mean, we've seen some big names, that have also been affected. Their properties have been affected by Jabiamilas and, quite a number of other names, right there. And that would somewhat die or phase out the part that says, it's just targeted at the people who are the middle class or the poor masses and all of that, because it seems as though the law is the law. But Elder Onoja had tried to advance that. Look, hey, you, as much as you're saying that these guys, are affected, it may not really be as it seems, that the law will not be followed to the letter, especially when there are sacred cows like the Bajabiamilas, and that this might not apply to them. But let's just go to the fact that the Nigeria Senate had passed a fresh supplementary budget of 288 billion naira for the FCTA on September 25 of 2024. Now, that budget was aimed to accommodate additional inflows from internally generated revenues and even other revenues. I mean, the breakdown of that supplementary budget includes 288 billion naira, which is the total fund, 8 billion naira internally generated revenue, other revenues 280 billion, overhead costs will be about 31.1 billion naira, capital expenditure is 256.9 billion naira. Now, quite a number of Nigerians will say, hey, with all of these monies and billions and all of that, is that not enough for us to reorganize, the land, the property usage, is it the Land Usage Act now, or in a bid to looking out for the poor amongst us? You already made it clear that Abuja is for everyone, right? But have we been able to accommodate the poor in the housing accommodation schemes in Abuja, as it were?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say this before I come to your question.
Right.
Hoarding these properties, hoarding property development is like starving the real estate market.
Starving the real estate market?
Yes, it's like starving the real estate market. And I will be sincere with you, because these properties are not fully completed. And someone somewhere is holding back the property. They are indirectly starving the real estate market. There are no activities anymore in the real estate market. And I'm serious. Now, let me give you an example. A plot of land now, which is about 1,000 square meters to 1,200 square meters in the Metama, you mentioned Metama.
Yeah, I did.
In Metama district, is about 1 billion naira today.
1 billion naira?
Yes.
A plot, just one plot.
Like, in Abuja, we call a plot 1,000 to 1,200 square meters. It's a plot. That size in Metama today is about 1 billion naira. Now, you can imagine that 1 billion naira is pushed into the market. How many people benefit from it? But here we are, one person is holding on to that 1 billion naira. It doesn't work out that way.
So it doesn't have economic sense.
It doesn't have any economic sense.
Right.
You can imagine pushing that 1 billion naira into the market, particularly the real estate market. It will influence the market growth.
Do you think that's what the FCTA is trying to do?
No. It's not part of what they're trying to do.
All right.
But I would say that yes, in one way, yes, it's part of what they are trying to do. But what we are told from the news is that they want to sanitize Abuja, rid Abuja of miscreants, rid Abuja of hideouts. You know, we said all these miscreants, bandits,
the pickpocketers and the rest.
Pickpocket and ever, they are using this property as a hideout. Yes, that is one end.
Right.
But if this property is fully completed, you are now feeding the real estate market. There will be a lot of activities in the real estate market. Apart from the construction aspect, like I told you, about 25 families will be fed. That is, will be fed when construction activity is going on in a particular building, just one building. Now, apart from that one building, now you push this into the market, that is the real estate market. You can imagine how many people will benefit from it. The real estate, the estate agents will benefit from it. The estate surveyors and valuers will benefit from it. The facility managers will benefit from it. The estate managers will benefit from it. Tenants will benefit from it. The landlord will benefit from it. The seller will benefit from it. The buyer will benefit from it. But now, instead of all this group benefiting from it, it's only one man that is holding everybody to ransom. Now you can imagine every landowner in Abuja here holding back, holding their building, holding the transaction. I say, look, I don't want to build, I don't want to sell, I don't want to do anything. In fact, there is one slogan they used to that is common among property owners, and it's a very bad one. They will tell you that building doesn't eat, meaning that you don't spend on it as long as it is there for you. Anytime you are ready, you can come over it. But it's wrong. Every passing day you are losing money. You are losing money every passing day by not finishing up your property, by not developing your plot, by not completing your structure. You are losing money.
Let me put a peg to your thoughts and just take this call. Hello and good morning.
Odua, again.
All right, hold on, Naja, talk to us.
My case, be an estate of here. You see, federal government, they have to, if you go to court is just view as a football field. You can score by penalty, and if you score by penalty, if it is if they declare, you have declared. You see, most of the estates in Abuja here, the government have failed to do what they're supposed to do. Because if they give you allocation, you started building estates. The government is supposed to make road to that place. Facilities. The government did not provide facility for most of the estate in the federal capital here. Only few like Cuba and other areas where you see government facility there. Government is supposed to give facility before they would talk about revoking an estate or not.
Okay.
I'm building my estate. I pumped a lot of money, but there's no facility there. No underground cable, no light, nothing. How did you think say people will come and buy that estate from me? So if they take it to court, God will see that side. If there's a government facility there, before you started revoking. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder. Well, you see, Elder is saying that, look,
yes,
it has to be a two-way thing.
Yes, last time when I was here, I talked about that when we are talking about unoccupied properties.
Yeah.
And I said one of the reasons is that government has failed in providing necessary infrastructure to their building. But the one we are talking about today, we are talking about uncompleted building within phase 1 development of Abuja. You know, Abuja, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on. Phase 1, and you specifically mention Metama.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, what part of Metama do we not have road? What part of Metama do we not have underground cables? What part of Metama do we not have water? What part of Metama do we not have electricity? We are talking about even the areas that are fully developed, like phase 1. I'm not even using Metama anymore. I'm talking about phase 1 as a whole. Every part of phase 1 has been serviced, yet people refuse to complete their buildings.
Right. Well, the number is still out there. 0907 353 0044 would be that number for you to call to engage. And if you have any concerns and questions, and the WhatsApp portal number, which you can as well engage as sending your voice note as well as your WhatsApp message, or even putting out a call, would be 0909 705 4450. We'll see this message all the way from Suleja, and this the bearer will be James from Suleja right there, sending regards. Says, first things first, I think we have more of a problem of unoccupied completed buildings in Abuja than uncompleted ones. A very good number of apartment buildings in some estates are completed but unoccupied. The proliferation of the housing estates around the city center has led to wrongful allocation of some of these areas. Even areas originally mapped out for mass housing development have been converted to highbrow housing developments, leading to the high cost of these developed apartments, both either for lease or outright purchase. Now, the minister needs to beam a searchlight on those unoccupied estates and apartments. I visited a plot I got some time ago around Kurudu, only to discover it has been fenced over by an estate company. Same thing in Kuje. These is the same for a number of other areas outside city. Seems these estate developments are now some form of money laundering scheme. Well, that is what James is saying. Or do you share the same thoughts with him, or you have a divergent, view about that?
Well, I don't have facts about money laundering, so
right.
Let me not go into that. But what I can say is that, I said the other time that some of this property you see outside there, they are not fully completed. They are only from outside. You will see painted with doors and windows. Mm-hmm. But go right inside. There are no tiles. There are no ceiling. There are no doors, internal doors. There are no sanitary wares. There are no even cables. There are no electrical fittings in there. But outside you will see, it is completed. It's a market gimmick. A market gimmick to invite onlookers, to invite prospective buyers to come and see. And once you go inside, what they will tell you that, we left the inside because so you come and finish it to your own taste, and we are selling to you at that level. Right. So now tell me, who will occupy such building that inside is not finished, no tiles, no ceiling, no electrical cables, no electrical fittings, no sanitary wares, no wardrobe, no kitchen cabinet, nothing? Who will want to live in that kind of a house? But they will finish it from outside, just like a market strategy. Let it look attractive from outside, and when you buy it, you now finish it to your own level and your own taste.
All right. Well, when you consider the economic realities, just right in front of us, and you consider, this news from the FCTA, especially given a 3-month ultimatum, would you say it's the right time to execute such?
Well, there is no any time that is adequate. Anytime the government wakes up to say this is what we want is the right time. Now, what I can only say is that 3-month ultimatum may be very, very short. It may not be realizable. It is not realistic. But I can say again, you can achieve a lot within that 3 months. But for you to complete some of this project within 3 months, it may not be possible.
All right, just to give you a little heads up right there, the FCTA has been plagued by corruption, land speculation, and as well as bureaucratic delays, and that has led to a rise in shanties and illegal structures across the Federal Capital Territory. However, that poses a security, risk to residents. And just to refresh your mind again, September 2023, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesum Wike, had approved a 3-month grace period for 189 title holders who had obtained building plan approvals but were yet to commence development on their property. And that would not only be the only thing he had said at the time. He had made some very strong statements at the time, and we've seen how work has been, commenced. Some of these uncompleted bridges, the roads and all of that, we see that happening. Now, do you think it's hard, to change anything in Nigeria today? When I say anything, I'm saying not just buildings, because some people say, to change is pretty hard to change. It's hard. It's easy to destroy, but when you're trying to build up again, it's pretty hard. What do you think it takes to create a change?
Yeah, I think we need some element of radicalism, and that is exactly what this honorable minister is bringing on board. Element of radicalism. El-Rufai during his time use these tactics, and it worked. You can imagine what Abuja would have turned out to be if El-Rufai did not come up with his own policy at that time. And I bet you, if the subsequent honorable ministers had told that line of action, I'm telling you, this city would have been one of the best cities in Africa today.
Right.
Now, for the honorable minister coming up with this, I think it's the right thing to do. When he assumed duty, you can see the road construction. In fact, there are some roads down that people, consciously or unconsciously, they name it after him. Oh, Wike Road. For instance, I was describing a place. Oh, I'm passing through this. Oh, are you passing through Wike Road? The road was not named after him, but consciously or unconsciously, people have named the road after him.
So you're saying change is possible?
Change is possible, and change, a very good change will come with element of radicalism, and that is exactly what is playing out now. Remember, when the issue of ground rent came up, people rushed to the bank and paid ground rent. Now, this one is coming up. Wait and see. You will see people coming in to fix their buildings. And I'm telling you, it will create more economic activity for the FCT. Like I said, the real estate market is being starved of supply. You know, market deals with supply, demand and supply. The demand is very high, but the supply is little. So by the time these property are being developed and completed, there will be a lot of economic activity in the real estate market. The market will come back to life again. The market is dead already. We want the market to come back to life, and one way of the market coming back to life is this. And you know, in economics, when there is high supply, what happens to the price? When the supply is higher than the demand, the price crash. So that is what we should be expecting in the coming days, that there will be either stability of rent or there will be crash reduction. All right, that's what we want to see. Let people have access to quality buildings, have access to quality housing units, and these are one of the ways of getting people to have access to these quality buildings.
So by this, do you also think that the FCTA has been able to balance the security, concerns with the residents' needs in this regard?
I think before the minister or FCTA will come up with this idea, they must have had some security tips. They must have carried out their reconnaissance survey, and they now discover that, look, we have miscreants, we have bandits, we have kidnappers, we have pickpocketers hiding, living in this uncompleted building. So it is not something that they just wake up to say, oh, we are going to rip Abuja of this. No, it must be something that they have carried out a reconnaissance survey. They've seen it. They've had security reports from this security expert. I'm not a security expert. I'm sure security expert must have given the honorable minister this advice. Look, yes, we have security challenge now in Abuja. Let me see. You know that today, I think the safest place in Nigeria today is Abuja, and that is why people will run away from their state to come and hide in Abuja here. Now, if Abuja is termed, quote and unquote, safe, and we are having this, what are we talking about?
Right. What we've been talking about is the fact that we want to get with the WhatsApp portal and take this voice note and put raps on it.
Good morning, Mr. Odwag. Good morning to your guests in the studio. I've listened carefully to all that I've said. I want to say, apart from phase one, there are other areas that need to be considered very soon, because this issue of taking over land that are not developed, a lot of factors are also involved. For instance, first, my name is Julius. I'm calling from the working area. There was time before this government started, some estate developers, they collected money with the hope of getting a completed apartment and handing over to clients. But somewhere along the line, the prices of building a house skyrocketed, and the estate developer can no longer continue based on how much they value those houses there, and now they cannot even seek partnership or take a loan from the bank to complete those houses. Those houses are just there. So what should be done in such cases? And there are individuals that also bought land. Maybe they thought they could develop it. They started during the past administration. They started and maybe developed it up to somewhere. Because of no money, they now decide to hold on and to start again. And based on this present government, the price of things have gone up. Imagine the price of cement. A road like Y16 that was being sold for like 6,000-7,000 is now sold for 27,000 per one lead. So where do they expect such people to seek money to complete their houses? So I think what the government should do is, if you do not, if somebody cannot continue because he does not have money, the government should come and buy the property over at the current price and then take it over instead of just revoking it. There are a lot of reasons. The economy is so harsh, price of things have skyrocketed. So people are really thinking of how to feed now, not how to build houses. I think that is my take. Thank you very much. I will seek answers to these questions.
All right. So I think you've pretty much answered a couple of it, but he has raised some very vital points.
A very, very good point.
As quick as you can, maybe one minute or so for want of time.
Yeah, a very good point there. Yeah, government can come over and buy off the properties.
Yeah.
But the question is, the developers, are they willing to sell?
Oh, that's another thing.
Yes, that's another thing.
You mentioned that the many developers want to hoard it.
For speculative purpose.
Right. Well, anyways, this is how we come to a close on Eagles Outlook today. I believe you've been able to tap into the wealth of experience coming from ESV Dr. Kendale Gunsanya. He's an estate surveyor, real estate property valuer, and facility manager. Thank you so much for stepping into the studio again this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, this is how much we take. And I want to also say a big thank you to you for being a part of this. It's been an incredulous, journey, and we look forward to having, more and more eye-opening, insightful topical issues and conversation right here on this dial. To